Minecraft. I survived 100 days in a cursed world, and it was a terrible mistake. Everything I thought I knew about survival was wrong. The trees whisper names of the fallen, the caves echo with more than just monster groans, and the nights. The nights are a symphony of terror I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. This isn't just hardcore mode. This is a living, breathing nightmare designed to break even the most seasoned players. My journey began with a simple goal: survive. But after 100 days, I can tell you that survival is the least of your worries in a world that actively wants you gone. The first day was deceptively normal. I spawned in, punched a few trees, and crafted my basic tools. The sun felt warm, the sheep were fluffy, and for a moment I thought the cursed label was just an exaggeration. But as dusk began to settle, the first sign of wrongness appeared. The shadows didn't just lengthen, they writhed and twisted, forming shapes that flickered at the edge of my vision. I quickly dug a dirt hole to wait out the night, but the usual silence was replaced by a low, guttural humming that seemed to come from the very blocks around me. It felt like the world itself was breathing, and its breath was cold with malice. By day 10, the oddities had escalated into outright threats. I had built a small wooden shack, established a wheat farm, and was starting to feel a semblance of security. That was my first mistake. One morning, I walked outside to find all my crops had turned into dead bushes. Not trampled, not unplanted, but withered and dead. Later that day, while mining for iron, I heard the distinct sound of footsteps behind me. I spun around, sword drawn, to find nothing. But when I turned back to my tunnel, the way was blocked by a solid wall of cobblestone that hadn't been there a second before. I was trapped. It took me half an hour of panicked digging with a stone pickaxe to break free, all while the phantom footsteps circled my position. The psychological toll was immense. Around day 35, I started seeing things. A creeper would appear in the distance, but when I looked again, it was just a strangely shaped cactus. I'd hear a door creak open in my base, only to find it securely shut. The game was gaslighting me, making me question my own senses. The nights were the worst. The moon would sometimes glow a sickly green, and on those nights, the monsters were different. Skeletons would sprint at impossible speeds, their arrows glowing with an unnatural energy. Zombies would break down doors in a single hit, their eyes burning with a red intensity I'd never seen before. These weren't just mobs, they were manifestations of the world's hatred. I descended into the Nether around day 60, hoping to gather resources for potions. It was a foolish hope. The Nether wasn't just a fiery hellscape, it was a labyrinth of flesh and bone. The netherrack seemed to squirm under my feet, and the gasped cries sounded less like shrieks and more like pained, human screams. I saw structures that made no sense, towering spires of soul sand that reached the ceiling, and rivers of lava that flowed uphill. I grabbed my blaze rods and fled, vowing never to return. The portal shimmered ominously behind me, not with its usual purple glow, but with a deep, blood-red hue. My final stand began on day 99. My base, once a symbol of safety, now felt like a cage. The walls seemed to close in, and every shadow held a potential threat. I had enchanted diamond armor, a powerful sword, and chests full of food, but none of it mattered. As the sun set for the 100th time, the world unleashed its full fury. A blood moon rose, casting the landscape in a terrifying crimson light. Hordes of supercharged monsters swarmed my base from all directions. Phantom-like creatures, unlike any mob I had ever seen, phased through my walls, their chilling whispers promising my demise. My defenses crumbled in minutes. My health bar dwindled as I fought with every ounce of my being, but it was like trying to hold back the ocean with a bucket. In the end, it wasn't a creeper or a zombie that got me. As my final heart faded, the last thing I saw was my own reflection in a block of glass. But my eyes were glowing with that same hateful red intensity as the monsters. I had survived 100 days, but in doing so, I had become part of the curse.